When is a parent born? When your world changes in a moment? Nani? Or when the moment is celebrated by all? When you start learning again? Or with a new role? Is it your child's first breath? Or is it just a feeling? Parents are born when they fulfill a responsibility.
Your child's umbilical cord blood can provide protection from 80 life-threatening diseases. Keep it safe with Asia's largest stem cell bank, Cord Life. One chance, one choice.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome you all for this session of Labor and Birth. I am Mangesh Mankar representing Cord Life. Cord Life, as you know, is in we preserve umbilical cord blood and umbilical cord tissue. The stem cells which are there in they are useful for treating life-threatening disorders. These cells which are preserved at the time of birth they are useful not only for the baby but for other family members also. These stem cells are available only at the time of birth. They are more efficient than any other source of stem cells because these are naive stem cells, new stem cells. So please do take information about stem cell banking at your leisure time. Please contact us for. We are organizing this event in association with Thanawala Maternity at Vashi, and Dr. Uday Thanawala is the gynecologist of Thanawala Maternity. Because of Thanawala Maternity in front of you, Gamuja, and she will take over with the session with labor and birth. Do attend properly, take notes, follow them. That will be really helpful for you during your pregnancy. Ma'am, you can start.
Okay, thank you, Mangesh. Welcome, everybody. A very warm good evening to all of you. So, on behalf of Dr. Thanawala Maternity and on behalf of Cord Life. So, myself, Nigamaja, I'm a physiotherapist, childbirth educator, and lactation counselor. तो आप सब लोगों ने आज आफ्टरनून अच्छे से लंच करके यू मस्ट हैव हैड अ शॉर्ट नैप और मे बी अभी चाय या सूप या ऐसा कुछ लेके आप आराम से बैठ सकते हैं क्योंकि अभी जो इन्फॉर्मेशन रहेगा वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस अबाउट लेबर एंड बर्थ। फिर स्वाति इज आर लैक्टेशन काउंसलर, तो वो आपके साथ डिस्कस करेंगे अबाउट ब्रेस्ट फीडिंग एंड अबाउट हाउ यू कैन टेक केयर ऑफ योर लिटिल बेबी। ठीक है, तो जस्ट रिलैक्स एंड जो भी आपका डाउट्स है सो यू कैन पुट इट इन द क्वेश्चन बॉक्स में आप डाल सकते हैं and at the end of the session we will have at least 5 or 10 minutes for taking the questions as well. ठीक है, so let us begin. So labor और birth बोला तो हम सबके मन में थोड़ा सा डर लग सकता है कि it can be painful or what kind of experience it is going to be, especially if you are a first time mother. So let me first reassure you, जो भी आप अभी करते हैं, मे बी यू नो यू हैव डन योर यू आर वर्किंग और यू हैव डन योर प्रोफेशनल कोर्स, आपने इंजीनियरिंग किया होगा और मैनेजमेंट का कुछ कोर्स किया होगा, वॉट एवर कोर्स यू हैव डन, वॉट एवर पैशन यू आर डूइंग और वॉट एवर जॉब यू आर डूइंग, वॉट एवर स्टडीज यू हैव डन, उसमें आपने कितना मेहनत किया है, उसमें कितना डिफिकल्ट था सब्जेक्ट्स, उससे लेबर एंड बर्थ इज गोइंग टू बी very very easy. It is just a one physiological process. It is just an extension of your pregnancy. And थोड़ा बहुत हम प्रिपेयर करेंगे, थोड़ा बहुत इंफॉर्मेशन आपको सही इंफॉर्मेशन मिल जाएगा, इट इज गोइंग टू बी अ स्मूथ एंड इजी एक्सपीरियंस, राइट। आपको हम लोग डरे हुए रहते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द डिफरेंट स्टोरीज वी हियर अबाउट बर्थ, whatever movies we see, उसमें जैसा बर्थ को पोर्ट्रे करते हैं तो ये हमारे माइंड में रहता है। I hope that when we finish this session, आपको लेबर के बारे में आपका सोच बदल जाएगा. And I want you to look forward to your labor and birth experience as an experience which will be transformational, which you will feel, you know, you can think back and you will always feel happy about, right? So it can be I will not say that labor is no, there is no discomfort at all. There is discomfort, but it it need not be a scary experience. With little preparation, it is going to be a beautiful experience which you will look forward to, right? Like I would say that similar to how you can work out in a gym. So there is lot of effort, there is pain, there is discomfort, but at the end of it, there is a sense of achievement and the process itself is enjoyable to you. The same way you can look at labor and birth as a new learning experience, जिसमें थोड़ा आप prepare करके जाएंगे तो you are able to you know um, have this journey as a very beautiful one, right? Okay. So I always talk about how from the third trimester हम prepare करना चाहिए, how we will go about getting our body ready, mind, you know, it is a complete preparation. So if you observe in the third trimester अपना belly muscle काफी stretch होते हैं because the baby is growing rapidly. So 7th month के baby का अगर आप weight देखेंगे usually 8 किलो, सवा किलो इतना ही रहता है. पर जैसा ही seventh month is 28 weeks, just 10 weeks and the baby has become a 3 kilo baby. So baby के body में fat deposit होता है, bones काफी strong होते हैं, baby का brain बहुत develop होता है, बहुत सारे nerve connections develop होते हैं जिससे baby का वजन बढ़ता है. So third trimester is the time बहुत सारे changes आते हैं, not only in the baby but also in your body. तो अपना abdominal muscles काफी stretch होते हैं, stretch marks आते हैं, abdominal muscle stretch होता है. So there will be a little gap in the belly muscles like this. So after delivery, this gap has to close. So we don't need to wait after delivery to close this gap. तो pregnancy के time में अगर हम pelvic tilt जैसा सिंपल abdominal exercises करते आएंगे तो हमारा belly muscle का टोन बहुत अच्छे से रहेगा, राइट? सो आई वांट टू ऑलवेज एम्फसाइज कि थर्ड ट्राइमेस्टर आ गया तो ये मत सोचिए कि अभी एक्सरसाइज करने की जरूरत नहीं है, सो सब बेबी आने के बाद देखा जाएगा. सो अभी आप एक्सरसाइज करेंगे, आपका बॉडी अच्छा टोन्ड कंडीशन में रहेगा कि आफ्टर डिलीवरी इट इज इजियर फॉर यू टू गेट बैक टू शेप. अनदर बेनिफिट इज दैट जो भी कॉम्प्लिकेशंस आते हैं जैसा कि जेस्टेशनल डायबिटीज होता है या फिर एक्सेस वेट गेन हो जाता है, तो कभी कभी प्रेगनेंसी इंड्यूस्ड हाइपरटेंशन होता है, ऑल द कॉम्प्लिकेशन इफ यू सी मोस्ट ऑफ देम हैपन इन द थर्ड ट्राइमेस्टर. एक्सरसाइज करने से हमको अनकॉम्प्लिकेटेड प्रेगनेंसी, वी कैन लुक फॉर अ अनकॉम्प्लिकेटेड लेबर एक्सपीरियंस. तो इसके लिए हमको एक्सरसाइज डेफिनेटली करना है. So what are the kind of exercises we will do? हमको कीगल एक्सरसाइज डेफिनेटली करना है एंड अपने बैक को स्ट्रॉन्ग रखने के लिए एक्सरसाइजेस जरूर करिएगा. सो क्रॉल पोजिशन एक्सरसाइजेस आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड समथिंग टू गिव फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी इन योर थाइज, हिप एरियाज. तो ऐसा एक्सरसाइजेस भी हमको डेफिनेटली करना चाहिए. ओके, सो नाउ वी हैव लुक्ड एट हाउ वी नीड टू बी फिट, राइट? सो सिर्फ बेबी का भी ग्रोथ होता है थर्ड ट्राइमेस्टर में एंड आपका भी बॉडी में चेंजेस आते हैं. सो यू शुड बी कंफर्टेबल बाय डूइंग योर एक्सरसाइज रेगुलरली, राइट? तो अपने आप का अच्छा ख्याल रखेंगे इन द थर्ड ट्राइमेस्टर, देन इट इज गोइंग टू बिकम मच इजियर फॉर यू टू रिकवर आफ्टर बर्थ. ओके, सो लेबर में वन इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग इज the position of the baby, right? So the baby is in the womb, so the baby usually comes to this position. इसको vertex position बोलते हैं, मतलब the head is pointing down, right? So ये position रहेगा, then the possibility of vaginal birth is very high, right? But हमेशा babies ऐसा position में नहीं रहते हैं, कभी कभी ये breech position में भी रहते हैं, right? Sometimes if you see baby comes to this position, this is called a transverse lie. अगर हमको वजाइनल बर्थ चाहिए, वी वांट द बेबी टू कम इन दिस पोजीशन. ओके, so if you are in your say 30 weeks 32 weeks हो गया, तो जब भी आप डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं तो कभी देखते हैं तो डॉक्टर लिखते हैं ब्रिज पोजीशन. So don't get worried, don't get scared. So अभी 30-32 weeks में there is more room in the belly. So baby का weight अभी तक पूरा बड़ा नहीं है, तो there is space, तो baby पलटता रहता है, right? So one time if you see baby is in head down position, one time if you see bottoms down position में रहता है. तो हम फाइनल पोजीशन यूजुअली लेते हैं when we have reached 36 weeks. 36 weeks में अगर बेबी हेड डाउन पोजीशन में आ जाता है, so that is what we want, right? So अगर 32 weeks में ब्रीच पोजीशन है तो डोंट वरी, 2 weeks के बाद जब भी जाएंगे बेबी may have turned, and most of the babies they tend to move to the head down position because that is how जेनेटिकली बेबीज ऐसा ही प्रोग्राम किए गए हैं कि हेड डाउन पोजीशन में आ जाए टुवर्ड्स स्टम, राइट? तो मोस्टली बच्चे ऐसा पोजीशन में आ जाते हैं. अगर नहीं आते हैं, देयर आर एक्सरसाइजेस विच वी कैन डू जिससे हम पोजीशन को चेंज कर सकते हैं. ओके, सो राइट, अभी बेबी हेड डाउन पोजीशन में आ गया है. सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट चेक पॉइंट कि हाँ, आई एम वन स्टेप टुवर्ड्स वजाइनल बर्थ, राइट? सो वी आर ऑल keen for vaginal birth, right? So if we want to have vaginal birth, these are some of the checkpoints we need to look at. So one is baby should come in the head down position. So that is one checkpoint. So उसके पहले ही वो जो दूसरा checkpoint है कि our health should be good, mother's health should be good. मतलब अपना diabetes should be under control, अपना BP ठीक रहना चाहिए, fluid levels ठीक रहना चाहिए, अपना weight gain should be optimal. You know, all these factors are also important. So इसके लिए exercise, proper diet will help you to, you know, move towards that. So labor के लिए हमको क्या चाहिए? पहला baby head down position में आना चाहिए. So second thing क्या है? सिर्फ head down position में आया तो काफी नहीं है. The baby has to enter into the pelvis. So this is the white portion. This is the pelvis, the mother's pelvis. और ये baby है. And the baby enters into the pelvis. जैसा हम चार्जर में वो पिन इसमें डालते हैं, you know, आपके फोन में चार्ज करने के लिए वो पिन वो बराबर फिटिंग होएगा, only then charging will happen, right? Exactly the same way the baby and the pelvis, they have a perfect fit. वो सही डायरेक्शन में जाएगा तभी the baby can enter into the pelvis. इसको medically engagement बोलते हैं. So the baby, when the doctor will examine you, the doctor may say that baby is engaging into the pelvis. It is nothing but the baby has fitting inside the pelvis, right? So ये entry point of the pelvis, इधर baby का head जाके engage हो जाता है, right? So this engagement कभी होगा? Usually first time mothers को it can happen after 36 weeks, 37, 38 weeks में भी होता है. हमको what we are looking at, लेबर बिगिन होने के पहले हेड शुड बी नाइसली एंगेज्ड. देन अपना सेकेंड चेकलिस्ट है, मतलब यू आर वन मोर स्टेप टुवर्ड्स वजाइनल बर्थ. तो पहला बेबी हेड डाउन पोजीशन. द फर्स्ट वन इज अपना हेल्थ ठीक है, आपका शुगर, बीपी, amniotic fluid levels, and you know आपका weight gain is all optimal. Second checklist is that baby is in the head down position. Third one is baby's head is engaged inside the pelvis at least, you know, 1 or 2 weeks prior. ऐसा आप देखेंगे तो फिर वो engage होता है. So it can happen any time after 36 weeks, right? So this is a important step towards vaginal birth. Okay. So there is something called optimal fetal positioning, right? ये किसके लिए करते हैं? ये बेबी का हेड एंगेज होने के लिए दिस इज अ मेथड जो मदर्स कैन डू. सो यू नो वी ऑल लाइक टू नो, राइट? मैं क्या करूं कि मुझे वजाइनल बर्थ हो जाए? So everybody will give you lot of tips. So somebody will say रोज झाड़ू पोछा करो तो नॉर्मल डिलीवरी हो जाएगा, सीढ़ी बहुत चढ़ के उतरो नॉर्मल डिलीवरी हो जाएगा, या फिर बहुत घर का काम करो नॉर्मल डिलीवरी हो जाएगा, वॉकिंग करो नॉर्मल डिलीवरी हो जाएगी. नो, दीज आर ऑल मेनी थिंग्स, you know, tips you will be listening from people, right? So there is a concept called optimal fetal positioning. Means mother कैसा position करते हैं, how you sit, how you stand, can have an influence on how the baby will have space to enter into the pelvis. मतलब आप कैसा बैठते हैं, उठते हैं, आपका पोजीशन कैसा है, उस हिसाब से बेबी का हेड पेल्विस में एंगेज हो सकता है. राइट, यू कैन रीड अबाउट दिस ऑल्सो, नेट में बहुत सारे इंफॉर्मेशन रहेगा, आप देख सकते हैं. तो द कॉन्सेप्ट इज वेरी सिंपल. तो आप ये यूट्रस है, इसके अंदर बेबी है एंड अपना पेल्विस इधर है. द बेबी हैज टू एंटर लाइक दिस. दिस इज द डायरेक्शन. इस ये डायरेक्शन में बेबी पेल्विस के अंदर फिट होता है. तो ये डायरेक्शन है. तो आप अगर सीधा बैठेंगे या आगे की तरफ हल्के से लीन करके बैठेंगे, बैक अच्छे से स्ट्रेट करेंगे, थाइज वाइडन करेंगे, तो थाइज थोड़ा पैर चौड़ा करके बैठने से पेल्विस खुल जाता है, तो ज्यादा जगह बन जाती है कि बेबी का हेड अंदर जाके फिट हो सकता है. तो दीज पोजिशंस आर फेवरिंग द एंगेजमेंट ऑफ द बेबी इनटू द पेल्विस. हमको क्या नहीं करना है, पीछे ये करके जैसा सोफा में हम एकदम लेजीली जो बैठते हैं, वो पोजीशन आप अवॉइड करना चाहिए. राइट, तो दिस पोजीशन हम अवॉइड करेंगे क्योंकि एंगेज होने का डायरेक्शन ऐसा है. यू सॉ हियर ना, इधर से ऐसा, ये उल्टा डायरेक्शन में है. हमारा पेल्विस इधर है और बेबी ऐसा है. हाँ, तो ये डायरेक्शन है और अपना पेल्विस इधर है, तो इधर फिट नहीं होगा. तो ये पेल्विस अगर अपना पेल्विस इज अ कप लाइक दिस, ये बेबी है, तो ये डायरेक्शन में बेबी अंदर फिट होता है. राइट, अगर हम लोग ने पेल्विस को ऐसा टेढ़ा कर दिया, आप ऐसा जैसा लो सोफा में बैठते हैं, तो फिर बेबी का हेड एंगेज होने के लिए वो सही पोजीशन में नहीं आता है. सो दैट इज व्हाई सीधा बैठना और आगे की तरफ लीन करने के पोजीशन में बैठेंगे, इट इज सूटेबल फॉर एंगेजमेंट. राइट, ओके, ठीक है. सो ये हम लोगों ने नेक्स्ट चेक पॉइंट देखा है कि एंगेज करने के लिए हमको क्या करना है. राइट, सो आप मुझे फिर पूछेंगे, तो ठीक है, ऐसा एंगेज करना है, हाउ आई कैन हेल्प द बेबी टू एंगेज इनटू द पेल्विस, मुझे क्या क्या करना चाहिए. तो ये सब जो अभी मैं बता रही हूँ, यू विल डू देम आफ्टर 36 वीक्स. ओके, तो इसमें वॉकिंग तो शुरू से ही करेंगे. वॉकिंग 36 वीक्स के बाद मत सोचना. वॉकिंग तो प्रेगनेंसी के शुरुआत से, एज एंड व्हेन योर डॉक्टर हैज टोल्ड यू टू बी एक्टिव, तभी से आप वॉकिंग चालू करेंगे. पर 36 वीक्स के बाद वॉकिंग कंटिन्यू करना है. देयर आर मेनी लेडीज हु विल से नहीं, अभी आजकल ना मुझे चलने को भी नहीं होता है, दुखता है, इसके लिए आजकल मैं नहीं चलती हूँ, वैसा भी 9th मंथ आ गया है. नो, दैट इज नॉट एन एक्सक्यूज. सो इनफैक्ट आप जब भी चलेंगे, आपका एक्स एंड पेन्स कम हो जाएगा एंड यू विल इंक्रीज द पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ एंगेजमेंट. क्योंकि चलने के टाइम कमर ऐसा ऐसा हिलती है, तो इससे अपना पेल्विस में ज्यादा जगह बन जाता है और बेबी को एंगेज होने को इजी रहता है. और बेबी भी ऐसा ऐसा मूव होगा ना, अपना बेली ऐसा मूव होता है, सो एंगेज होना इजी है. दूसरा पोजीशन है क्रॉल पोजीशन. डेली थोड़ा टाइम क्रॉल पोजीशन में रहेंगे. क्रॉल पोजीशन में एक्सरसाइज कर सकते हैं, क्रॉल पोजीशन में रेस्ट कर सकते हैं, व्हाटएवर. तो उससे बेबी को वो करेक्ट पोजीशन में टर्न होने के लिए जगह मिलती है. राइट, तो ये सब मिडवाइव्स यूजुअली यूज करते हैं. ओके, सो जिधर जो नेचुरल बर्थ कराते हैं, मिडवाइव्स डिलीवरीज कराते हैं, तो दे आर मोर इन फेवर ऑफ वजाइनल बर्थ. तो वो लोग मदर को सजेशंस देते हैं कि कौन सा पोजीशंस ले सकते हैं 9th मंथ में ड्यूरिंग लेबर, जिससे बेबी कैन एंटर डीपर इनटू द पेल्विस. सो दीज आर ऑल सजेशंस बाय मिडवाइफ. ओके, एंड स्क्वाटिंग कर सकते हैं और डक वॉकिंग भी कर सकते हैं. स्क्वाटिंग एंड डक वॉकिंग 36 वीक्स के पहले आप नहीं करेंगे. ठीक है, एंड स्क्वाटिंग अगर करते हैं तो ये जो पिक्चर में जैसा बैठ के नमस्ते करते हैं, तो इसमें हील अच्छे से नीचे जमाना है और नीज को वाइडन करेंगे. अगर नीज वाइड करना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट होता है, अपने एल्बो से पुश कर सकते हैं नमस्ते करते करते, तो पैर थोड़ा चौड़ा हो जाएंगे और स्क्वाटिंग में बैठना आसान हो जाता है. ये स्क्वाटिंग में 1 मिनट बैठेंगे बस होंगे. ठीक है, डोंट थिंक यू हैव टू स्क्वाट एंड स्टैंड अप. सिर्फ 1 मिनट वंस इन अ डे इज सफिशिएंट. राइट, अगर आप बोलते हैं अरे मेरे को इतना दिन हो गया मैंने स्क्वाटिंग किया ही नहीं है तो मुझे तो नहीं होएगा, मुझे पैर में दुखेगा और आई विल नॉट फील बैलेंस्ड, देन यू कैन टेक अ स्मॉल स्टूल, बाथरूम स्टूल रख के उसमें आप बैठ सकते हैं। ओके, तो पूरा वजन पैर में नहीं आएगा बट एंड इट इज अ वेरी इफेक्टिव वन। तो अगर आप स्क्वाटिंग नहीं हो रहा है तो डोंट स्ट्रगल, यू कैन डू दिस पोजिशन। ठीक है, इजी है ना, सिंपल है। सो ओनली 3 थिंग्स, डेली वॉकिंग कंटिन्यू करना है, मतलब हम पहले से ही प्रेगनेंसी में वॉकिंग कर रहे हैं, यू कंटिन्यू टू वॉक 45 मिनट्स डेली। बाहर चलने को नहीं होता है, घर के अंदर चलना चाहिए डेली। 36 वीक्स के आगे तो क्रॉल पोजीशन लेना ही चाहिए। पहले भी आप क्रॉल पोजीशन का एक्सरसाइज करेंगे, इट इज वेरी गुड, इट इज अ गुड वे टू स्ट्रेंथन योर बैक। पर जो 9th मंथ में क्रॉल पोजीशन करेंगे दैट विल हेल्प इन पोजिशनिंग द बेबी करेक्टली। तो इसके लिए क्रॉल पोजीशन छोड़ना नहीं है। अभी मेरे को वजन बढ़ गया, मेरे को तकलीफ हो रहा है, तो ये सब हो सकता है। सो रेगुलरली एक्सरसाइज करने से अपने बॉडी में इंड्योरेंस रहता है तो 9th मंथ में आपको एक्सरसाइज बंद करने की नीड नहीं लगती है, तो यू शुड कंटिन्यू। स्क्वाटिंग एंड डक वॉकिंग खाली आप 36 वीक्स के बाद ही करेंगे, उसके पहले नहीं करेंगे। ठीक है, तो 36 वीक्स हो गया, यू कैन डू स्क्वाटिंग ओनली फॉर 1 मिनट वंस इन अ डे। अगर स्क्वाटिंग ऐसा करके एडी जमा के अच्छे से बैठने को नहीं होता है, पेन होता है या डिफिकल्टी होती है, देन आप छोटा बाथरूम स्टूल ले लें और उसमें बैठ सकते हैं, दैट इज ऑल्सो इफेक्टिव। ओके, ठीक है। सी लेबर में इट इज मोर ऑफ अ हार्मोनल थिंग, मतलब लेबर आप स्टार्ट होना चाहिए तो हार्मोन्स जो लेबर के लिए होता है, द ऑक्सीटोसिन इज द हार्मोन, वही इनिशिएट करता है। तो ऑक्सीटोसिन अच्छे से रिलीज होता है तब भी इस लेबर स्टार्ट होता है। तो तो ये हार्मोनल चीजें जो है, व्हेन वी आर मोर रिलैक्स्ड, व्हेन वी गेट गुड स्लीप, व्हेन वी फील वेल रेस्टेड, तभी ये अच्छे से रिलीज होते हैं। तो जब भी लेबर के 2 हफ्ते के पहले यू कैन गो फॉर अ नाइस बैक मसाज, फुट स्पा ले सकते हैं। बट अभी के टाइम में इट इज नॉट अ गुड आइडिया टू गो एनीवेयर आउटसाइड फॉर अ पार्लर ट्रीटमेंट। सो यू कैन टेल योर फैमिली मेंबर्स, मे बी हस्बैंड को बोल सकते हैं, मम्मी को बोल सकते हैं, फॉर अ नाइस रिलैक्सिंग बैक मसाज, फुट मसाज करवा के ले सकते हैं। तो इससे क्या होता है, अपना बॉडी रिलैक्स हो जाता है। When your body is relaxed, स्ट्रेस हार्मोन एड्रेनलिन कम हो जाता है, एंड ये रिलैक्स स्टेट में इवन यू कैन हैव अ हेड मसाज डन, इससे नेचुरल ऑक्सीटोसिन रिलीज होता है, राइट। सो समटाइम्स दिस हेल्प्स इन स्टार्टिंग लेबर नेचुरली, राइट। तो ये आप you can get it done. So these are all simple easy things which you can do. तो 2 हफ्ते के पहले अगर आप मसाज वगैरह करवा के लेंगे तो उससे आपको फायदा होगा लेबर को नेचुरली स्टार्ट करने के लिए। देर आर अदर वेज टू स्टार्ट लेबर नेचुरली ऑल्सो, लाइक निपल स्टिमुलेशन कर सकते हैं, उससे भी लेबर स्टार्ट होता है। बट दिस इज अ मोर एंजॉयबल वन, यू कैन आराम से आप मसाज करवा के ले सकते हैं, यू फील हैप्पी एंड नाइस, राइट। नाउ यू वांट टू नो लेबर कैसा स्टार्ट होगा। सो दिस इज व्हाट वी सॉ इज ऑल अबाउट प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर लेबर। सो हाउ यू विल प्रिपेयर फॉर लेबर, एक्सरसाइज करना है, तो बेबी को पेल्विस के अंदर जो फिट होना है, मतलब एंगेजमेंट होना है, तो उसके लिए हमको क्या पोजीशंस लेना है, ऑप्टिमल फीटल पोजिशनिंग हम लोग ने डिस्कस किया, and how you will be in a relaxed state of mind, maybe you will have massage or something, तो उससे your mind and body get ready for labor। अभी आपको समझना है लेबर आया तो कैसा पहचाने, राइट। उसके पहले से लेबर आने के few weeks or few days पहले you may feel this kind of feeling, there can be a brownish discharge और थोड़ा हल्के हल्के पेन्स आ सकते हैं, और जैसा बेबी का हेड एंगेज हो जाता है देन यू मे फील लाइटनिंग। लाइटनिंग मतलब आपके ऊपर का पेट हल्का लगता है, मतलब थोड़ा रोटी खाना आराम से होता है और श्वास लेने में तकलीफ नहीं होती है, हार्ट बर्न्स कम हो जाता है, सडनली यू फील लाइट ऊपर, पर नीचे की तरफ हेवी होता है। पेल्विस नीचे के जहाँ जैसा कि ग्रॉइन्स में पेन आ सकता है और टर्न करने में ज्यादा तकलीफ होती है, नीचे वजाइनल एरिया में प्रेशर जैसा लग सकता है थोड़ा सा, बिकॉज हेड एंगेज होता है तो भी ये फील होता है। नेस्टिंग अर्ज कैन ऑल्सो बी देयर, जो थकान थोड़ा होता है ना नॉर्मली 9th मंथ में, सडनली यू मे फील बहुत एनर्जी आ गया, अभी सब साफ करो, बेबी आने वाला है, घर में इधर गंदा है, कबर्ड साफ नहीं है, ऐसे यू मे वांट टू डू लॉट ऑफ क्लीनिंग, राइट? सो दीज आर ऑल नॉर्मल, राइट? सो जब भी ऐसा नस्टिंग अर्ज आता है तो थोड़ा यू कैन गेट अदर्स टू हेल्प यू एंड सेट द रूम फॉर द बेबी सो दैट आपको ज्यादा कंफर्ट हो जाए, एंड बी रेगुलर विथ योर एक्सरसाइजेस। ओके, तो लेबर को हम कैसा पहचानेंगे? एदर देयर कैन बी शो, मतलब देयर कैन बी म्यूकस विथ ब्लड डिस्चार्ज, देयर कैन बी वाटर विच इज लीकिंग, और देयर कैन बी यूट्राइन कॉन्ट्रैक्शंस, और जो हम लेबर पेन्स बोलते हैं, राइट? ये तीन में से एक भी आएगा, वी विल से इट इज लेबर, राइट? ओके, पर हॉस्पिटल कभी जाएंगे? अगर लीकिंग होता है तो यू विल गो टू द हॉस्पिटल विद इन 2 to 4 hours, राइट? अगर कॉन्ट्रैक्शंस आ रहे हैं तो 5 to 10 मिनट्स के इंटरवल में 2-3 घंटों से ही कॉन्ट्रैक्शंस आ रहा है, तभी आप हॉस्पिटल निकल जाइए, राइट? सो इफ देयर इज ओनली शो, यू हैव टू वेट, इधर कॉन्ट्रैक्शन आना चाहिए या लीकिंग आना चाहिए, राइट? लेबर इज आराम से जाता है, देयर इज कोई जल्दी नहीं रहती है, सो यू डोंट नीड टू गेट टेंस्ड, राइट? ओनली लीकिंग आता है, तुमको तुरंत जाने की जरूरत पड़ती है, अदरवाइज देयर इज प्लेंटी ऑफ टाइम इन लेबर। एंड जब भी हॉस्पिटल जाना है तो उसके पहले कुछ खा के नहीं जाएंगे अगर लीकिंग होता है तो, बिकॉज डॉक्टर को चेक करना है कि बेबी का हार्ट बीट वगैरह अच्छा है, उसके बाद ही आप खा सकते हैं। एंड लेबर में डोंट वरी, यू आर अलाउड टू ईट एंड ड्रिंक, राइट? तो आपको भूखे नहीं रखने वाले हैं, बट वॉट यू विल ईट इजी टू डाइजेस्ट फूड, एकदम स्पाइसी खाना है, मिल्क बेस्ड है, नो, ट्रेडिशनली वो गर्म दूध में घी मिला के देते हैं, तो वो लेबर के टाइम लेने से इट कैन मेक इट डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू टू डाइजेस्ट, राइट? सो रादर लेबर के टाइम में आप इजी टू डाइजेस्ट फूड खा सकते हैं। अर्लियर टाइम में जो गर्म दूध में जो घी मिला के देते थे, दैट वाज टू अवॉइड कॉन्स्टिपेशन इन द 9th मंथ। So if you have to take that, you can take it in the 9th month. You don't need to take it just before labor. Labor के पहले जब भी अगर वो सब लेंगे during labor, then digestion difficult होएगा, right? Easy to जैसा रोटी जाम के साथ खा सकते हैं, ब्रेड हनी के साथ खा सकते हैं, जैसा जिसमें आपको immediately एनर्जी मिले, ऐसा वाला खाना आप खा सकते हैं। ओके, सो नाउ आपने पहचान लिया कि लेबर है, आपको मालूम है कि कभी हॉस्पिटल जाना है, और राइट टाइम में आप हॉस्पिटल भी पहुंचते हैं, एंड यू आर ईटिंग एंड ड्रिंकिंग, लाइक यू आर नॉट स्टार्विंग इन लेबर, जिससे आपको एनर्जी मिलेगा फॉर द यूट्रस टू वर्क एंड फॉर यू टू मैनेज योर लेबर मोर एक्टिवली। क्योंकि अगर हमको लेबर में एक्टिव रहना है, अपने पेट में भी कुछ खाना वाना होना चाहिए ना, तो इसके लिए दिस विल बी कंफर्टेबल। ओके, so now we need to know लेबर में हाउ योर बॉडी वर्क, ये जानना बहुत जरूरी है, बिकॉज जितना भी चेंजेस आने दे ओवर द इयर्स सिविलाइजेशन में, विमेन का रोल्स हैव चेंज, वॉट एवर अदर्स में से कि आजकल की लड़कियां कुर्सी में बैठ के काम करते हैं, छक्के में आटी नहीं पीसते हैं, घर का काम नहीं करते हैं, स्क्वाटिंग नहीं करते हैं, तो इसके लिए डिफिकल्ट हो रहा है नॉर्मल डिलीवरी। Whatever people may say, women's body is meant for birth. So women's body is able to work, in a way it will open up for the birth of the baby. So let us understand how it is happening. So in the first stage of labor, जैसा भी contract ये start होने दो, labor start होने दो, the first stage of labor is when the contractions are coming. Every time there is the contraction, it will slowly open up the mouth of the uterus, right? So this is what is happening throughout your labor. जब भी आपको लगता है मेरे को पेन आ रहा है, instead of thinking ये पेन है, think that my uterus is working. अरे वाह, जब जिम में वर्कआउट करते हैं बहुत मेहनत लगती है ना, so it is going to give you pain, you may sweat, you find it really hard. The same way, every contraction, the uterus is working hard. इट इज अ इनवॉलंटरी मसल, जो आपसे इजाजत नहीं मांगता है, वो अपने से काम करता है. सो वी हैव टू जस्ट लेट द यूट्रस डू इट्स वर्क. यूट्रस को काम करना चाहिए, तभी द बर्थ इज गोइंग टू बी इजियर वन. तो जितना आपके कॉन्ट्रैक्शन तेज होते हैं, उतना यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड माई यूट्रस इज वर्किंग हार्डर. So let me just cooperate. Take it. Let it come. Let the contractions come. ऐसा आपको positively आप idea कर लेंगे कि क्या हो रहा है. So then you will be finding it easy to cooperate with your uterus, right? So ये initially अपने contractions धीरे धीरे आते हैं, मतलब every 5 to 10 minutes के interval में आएगा, 10 seconds, 20 seconds ऐसा छोटा छोटा आएगा, फिर बाकी टाइम कुछ नहीं रहेगा, everything is fine. So this is the early stage. पर लेटर ऑन क्या होता है, बड़े बड़े कॉन्ट्रैक्शन आते हैं. बड़ा मतलब 1 मिनट या सवा मिनट, मतलब नॉट मोर देन 70 सेकेंड्स, दैट इज द मैक्सिमम कॉन्ट्रैक्शन. एंड एवरी 2 मिनट्स आ सकता है. तो 1 मिनट कॉन्ट्रैक्शन, 1 मिनट गैप, 1 मिनट कॉन्ट्रैक्शन, 1 मिनट गैप. तो वो गैप में कुछ नहीं रहता है. तो दिस इज द एक्टिव स्टेज. एकदम मे बी बर्थ के 1 to 2 आवर्स के पहले ऐसा वेरी इंटेंस कॉन्ट्रैक्शन रह सकता है. This will open up the uterus very fast, right? So this is what is happening throughout the labor. The uterus is working and opening up the cervix. Once the cervix is fully open, then this is the time the doctor checks and then says, yes, the cervix is fully open. Now need to shift to the delivery room. Delivery room में जाते हैं and the baby is born. So delivery room में the doctor is there, nurse is there, pediatrician is there. So birth happens. So this is the time uterus is working hard and you are also actively pushing to bring the baby outside, right? So here your work is done. So the baby is delivered, you are happy, your job is over. So you have done a good job. But for the doctor, the birth is not over because in the third stage the placenta comes out. तो ये आपको जानने के लिए कुछ है नहीं, because you will be busy, you may be holding the baby, you have started probably keeping the baby on the chest, skin to skin contact में रखे हैं. So you are blissful, happy, but the doctor is working, finding out whether the placenta is coming out. तो placenta बाहर आना चाहिए and then the uterus has to shrink, right? Once the placenta comes out, the cord and the placenta वो सब आ जाता है. So baby का cord जो है clamp करते हैं, cut कर देते हैं. तो baby is taken by the pediatrician, clean up करके वापस back to the mother's chest and cord and placenta बाहर आ गया. तो stem cell banking के लिए वो cord में जो blood है वो ही निकाल के use करते हैं, right? Okay. So third stage is important for the doctor. इसमें uterus will shrink and all the bleeding will get controlled, right? So this stage is a very important stage. पर आपके लिए नहीं, डॉक्टर के लिए बहुत काम है इसमें, right? So this is how the cervix is opening. You can see initial labor में ये बंद है, धीरे धीरे खुल रहा है. So this is shown like this. हाँ, तो वो साइज में दिखाते हैं. तो हाफ वे थ्रू लेबर में अपना सर्विक्स 5 सेंटीमीटर तक खुलने वाला है. एंड देन इट इज, दिस इज व्हाट इज अर्ली लेबर. जब भी कॉन्ट्रैक्शंस छोटे छोटे रहते हैं तो सर्विक्स धीरे धीरे खुलता है. तो इतना 5 सेंटीमीटर आने के लिए कभी 8 घंटा, 9 घंटा, 10 घंटा, आधा दिन भी जा सकता है. ये एक्टिव लेबर में कॉन्ट्रैक्शंस आर बिग एंड स्ट्रॉन्ग. 40 सेकेंड्स एंड अबाउ रहता है, मैक्सिमम अप टू 70 सेकेंड्स भी आता है, मतलब सवा मिनट तक कॉन्ट्रैक्शंस रहता है. एक मिनट में कॉन्ट्रैक्शन रिपीट होता है. तो सर्विक्स फटाफट खुलता है बिकॉज यूट्रस जोर जोर से काम करता है. यू टच द बेली, यू कैन सी इट इज वेरी हार्ड, जैसा फुटबॉल जैसा कड़क रहता है. तो ये जो फटाफट खुलता है वो 6 सेंटीमीटर से 10 सेंटीमीटर, अनदर 5 सेंटीमीटर जो ओपन होता है, इसके लिए अगर सेवरल आवर्स लगा, दिस विल ओपन अप विद इन 2 to 4 hours, राइट? सो व्हाट डज दिस मीन? The difficult part of labor is for a short period of time. Okay, so the early labor takes a longer time. So जो भी बोलते हैं कि लेबर बहुत लंबा था, मुझे पूरा एक दिन लेबर था, they were not having intense contractions for one full day. They were having mild contractions or they were not having any contractions for many part of the day. जो intense contractions रहते हैं, जो 6 centimeters to 10 centimeters, it is only 2 to 4 hours. Right? So if you are clear with that, then you will not get unnecessarily scared about labor, because जो डिफिकल्ट पार्ट जिससे हम थोड़ा डरते हैं वो थोड़ा ही टाइम के लिए रहता है, राइट। So this is again a pictorial representation, early labor इधर तक, फिर active labor, right? Okay, so हमको क्या करना है लेबर में? What is our role? So you have to take your husband along with you during labor, right? So COVID के situation के वजह से most of the hospitals will not allow the husband inside the delivery room, but during the labor time, husband can be there. No, you want your husband to be a supportive partner. So this is what is WHO's stand. WHO यही बोलता है कि presence of a labor partner, लेबर के टाइम में एक नॉन मेडिकल पर्सन जो मदर के बहुत क्लोज हो, जो उनके फ्रेंड फैमिली हो, उनके हस्बैंड हो सकता है, मदर हो सकता है, जो लेबरिंग लेडी के साथ रहेंगे, उनको हेल्प करने से लेबर में कॉम्प्लिकेशंस कम होता है, पेन मेडिकेशन का नीड कम हो जाता है, एंड पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ वजाइनल बर्थ बढ़ जाता है, एंड यू हैव अ मोर पॉजिटिव एक्सपीरियंस अबाउट बर्थ। तो ये मैं नहीं बोल रही हूँ, ये WHO का स्टेटमेंट है। तो ऑलवेज encourage your partner to be with you, और आज के सेशन भी मोस्टली यू मे बी अटेंडिंग विथ योर पार्टनर, और यू नो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ रिसोर्सेस आल्सो अवेलेबल, तो उनको भी इन्वॉल्व करना है, आपको हेल्प करने के लिए सजेशंस देना है, सो दैट आपके लिए सपोर्ट मिले, हेल्प मिले, तो तभी आप इजीली मैनेज कर सकते हैं, राइट। सो अर्ली लेबर में हमको क्या करना है? इट इज मोर ऑफ रेस्ट, रेस्ट करेंगे, यू कैन रीड, यू कैन वॉच मूवी, यू नो ऐसा टाइम पास करना चाहिए अर्ली लेबर में। यूट्राइन कॉन्ट्रैक्शन हम लोग ने डिस्कस किया ना, एक कॉन्ट्रैक्शन आता है, इट यूजुअली कम्स लाइक अ वेव फॉर्म, ये स्टार्ट होता है, धीरे धीरे बढ़ता है, फिर धीरे धीरे कम हो जाता है, देन नथिंग इज देयर, दिस इज रेस्ट, ये टाइम पीरियड रेस्ट है। सो यू कैन सी ओनली दिस इज द पेन, जो पेन एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं, दिस इज द यूट्राइन कॉन्ट्रैक्शन। यूट्रस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होता है 1 मिनट के लिए, बीच में 4 मिनट गैप है, वापस 1 मिनट, right? So it is intense but only for that period of time, बाकी टाइम रेस्ट मिलता है, right? So you need help to manage the contraction. So ये पेन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का पैटर्न भी देखेंगे, so you will realize that जब भी लेबर के शुरुआत में, this is the place where you get intense pain, belly में and back में. Later in labor, the intensity can be increase, you know, little bit more here, and that it can spread to the thighs, buttock area also. The intense pain continues to remain here, right? It is only in the second stage of labor, at the birth of baby, you feel, you know, the sensation around the vaginal area, right? And if you see, इधर का पेन सब खत्म हो गया, कम हो गया at the time of birth, right? So इससे हमको क्या समझ में आता है? It is not the uterine contractions which are painful. So we think the uterine contractions are painful. इसके लिए लेबर में पेन आता है, So at the time of birth also the uterus is contracting, right? But at that time it is not painful. So the entire uterus is contracting. So but the pain is happening here. This is coming from the cervix. The cervix or the mouth of the uterus which is opening up. So that is the source of pain. And when we stiffen the body, the cervix becomes more stiff and the opening becomes painful. So the stretching out of the cervix may become painful. So if you can imagine the cervix opening to be like unfolding of a flower, if you can slacken your body, slacken yourself well, so then this opening up will be smooth and easy, because it is not the uterine contractions which are very painful, but it is the stretching of the cervix which is painful. So if you don't stiffen the cervix, if you slacken the mouth of the uterus, no, then it is easy. But we cannot do that separately. How you can open, you know, slacken up only the cervix? If you tighten your body, tighten your hands, screw your face, then the cervix is also tight. So for you to know whether you have slackened up the cervix, you have to see the rest of your body, face, hands. ये सब आपने अगर ढीला छोड़ा है, the cervix भी ढीला रहता है. So that is what is the most important thing we need to remember when we are looking at how you can get comfortable during labor. Okay, so ये पेन को मैनेज करने के लिए क्या हम अकेले कर सकते हैं? नो, ये तो डिफिकल्ट है. इसके लिए आपको सपोर्ट की जरूरत है, या पार्टनर शुड बी देयर. तो पार्टनर का रोल क्या है? ही कैन मसाज, ही कैन, जो हम लोग ने देखा ना, वेयर यू फील द पेन, इट इज ऑन द बेली, इट इज ऑन द बैक. तो वो पेन कभी रहता है? एट द टाइम ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्शन, बाकी टाइम में नहीं रहता है. सो 1 मिनट का कॉन्ट्रैक्शन है, 1 मिनट इफ योर पार्टनर मसाजेस द बैक, आपका पेन फ्लैट 50% कम हो जाता है. जैसा वो सेल में ऑफर चलता है 50% ऑफ, लाइक दैट पेन के लिए 50% ऑफ मिलेगा. That is absolutely fantastic, right? If you have 50% of pain relief, so that is possible when your partner is there to support you. You can use different positions and get yourself massaged during labor. Okay. Another thing we need to do is to keep changing position. तो हम लोग ने पहले डिस्कस किया कि बेबी हैज टू एंटर इनटू द पेल्विस, तो इसके लिए जगह चाहिए था. And for the baby to move out of the pelvis, move down the birth canal also, the baby has to do lot of movements. But how we can move the baby, how we can help the baby to move? By moving the mother, because when you move the mother, we can move the baby. So during labor, if you can walk, if you can lean on your partner, you can sit and lean forwards, you can sit and lean back, you can kneel, you can sit on a rocking chair. तो ऐसा बहुत सारे पोजीशन आप चेंज कर सकते हो. So we always visualize when we talk about labor, lying on the bed, right? So this is what we think when we think of labor. So not really. So you can change positions during labor, which is really good. In case for some reason you have to be lying down, you can turn to your लेफ्ट साइड लाइन में लेटने से बेबी का ब्लड फ्लो अच्छा रहता है, तो बेबी का ब्रीदिंग बराबर रहता है, बेबी कैन मैनेज द लेबर. सो यू शुड अवॉइड स्लीपिंग ऑन योर बैक एंड रेस्ट मोर ऑन टू योर लेफ्ट साइड. ओके, सो ये अपराइट पोजिशन से क्या फायदा होता है? सी, दिस इज द वे द यूट्रस इज वर्किंग. सो वी ऑलरेडी नो दैट द यूट्राइन कॉन्ट्रैक्शन is what we are feeling as pain. तो हर टाइम आपको पेन आता है, you have to think, हाँ मेरा यूट्रस बहुत अच्छे से काम कर रहा है. पेन इंक्रीजेस मीन्स यस, माय यूट्रस इज वर्किंग रियली हार्ड, राइट? तो यूट्रस का वर्क कौन सा डायरेक्शन में है? ऊपर से नीचे के डायरेक्शन. जब भी हम सोए रहते हैं लेबर में, अपना ग्रेविटी इज वर्किंग लाइक दिस, राइट? सो ग्रेविटी ऐसा काम कर रहा है, यूट्रस इज ट्राइंग टू वर्क लाइक दिस, इफेक्टिव नहीं रहता है, या इसको ज्यादा काम करना पड़ता है, या जितना काम करे उतना ज्यादा सर्विक्स खुलता नहीं है. बट इफ यू आर अपराइट, ग्रेविटी इज ऑल्सो वर्किंग इन द सेम डायरेक्शन, राइट? तो यूट्रस का काम भी ऐसा ही नीचे की तरफ है, तो एनीथिंग वी हैव टू पुश, हम खड़े होके पुश करते हैं तो इजीली होता है, राइट? The same way the uterus will also find it easy to bring the baby down the birth canal passage if you are more upright. इससे लेबर के टाइम में 2 घंटे तक फर्क आ सकता है, विच इज रियली गुड. सो एंड इसमें खड़े रहने से द पेन यू एक्सपीरियंस इन लेबर विल बी मच लेस, बहुत कम हो जाता है. अगर आप दूसरा कुछ भी नहीं करेंगे, खड़े रहेंगे, तो पेन कम हो जाएगा, राइट? सो एंड यू नीड टू, यू कैन ऑल्सो बी डूइंग ब्रीदिंग. तो जब भी हम ब्रीदिंग क्यों करेंगे? Because we want the baby to be able to manage the uterine contractions, right? तो contraction के टाइम में बेबी का हार्ट बीट अच्छा रहे, कि अगर हार्ट बीट कम हो जाता है उसको fetal distress बोलते हैं, that is one need for a C-section. So we want to avoid the baby's heartbeat coming down. तो वो अवॉइड करने के लिए हमको क्या करना है? हमको श्वास नहीं रोकना है. श्वास नहीं रोकने के लिए ही ये सब तरीके आप यूज कर सकते हैं, कि आप स्लोली नोज से इनहेल कर सकते हैं, मुंह से बाहर कर सकते हैं, या आप काउंट कर सकते हैं कॉन्ट्रैक्शन को, या ऐसा आवाजें निकाल सकते हैं सॉफ्टली, जिससे आप श्वास नहीं रोके. और बॉडी टेंस नहीं रखना है, क्योंकि वी ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड कि अगर it is not the uterine contractions which are painful, but ये जो cervix जो खुलता है, that is what gives us pain. अगर हमको ये पेन कम करना है, हमको करना क्या है? यूट्रस कॉन्ट्रैक्शन कम करना है, नहीं, यूट्रस को तो अच्छे से काम करना है, तभी सर्विक्स खुलेगा। सर्विक्स को हमको ढीला रखना है। सर्विक्स को ढीला रखने का मेथड क्या है? बॉडी को रिलैक्स रखे। यू कैन सी द डिफरेंस बिटवीन दीज टू लेडीज। फेस कितना टाइट रखे हैं, हाथ से कितना जोर से क्लेंच किए हैं, श्वास रोके हैं, और इनको देखिए एकदम फेस रिलैक्स्ड है, स्लोली ब्रीथ कर रहे हैं, मुंह से श्वास बाहर निकाल रहे हैं, हाथ एकदम रिलैक्स रखे हैं। तो ये ऐसा बॉडी को ढीला छोड़ने से सर्विक्स का मुंह भी ढीला रहता है, देन इट विल ओपन इजिली विदाउट पेन और लेस पेन। आई विल नॉट से पेन नहीं रहेगा, इट विल बी मच लेस, इट विल बी विद इन द टॉलरेशन के लिमिट के अंदर रहता है। तो लेबर में इंटरवेंशन होते हैं, कभी कभी लेबर को आर्टिफिशियली स्टार्ट करना पड़ता है, समटाइम्स आईवी फ्लूइड देना पड़ता है, बेबी का हार्ट बीट मॉनिटर करना रहता है, बट विथ ऑल दैट यू विल बी एबल टू डू ऑल दीज कंफर्ट मेजर्स। अगर हार्ट बीट मॉनिटर करना है तो सीधा मत लेटे रहिए, साइड में लेटे रह सकते हैं, या फिर आप बैठे रह सकते हैं। आईवी वगैरह लग गया तो इसके मतलब ये नहीं कि आपको भी लेटे रहना है, तो आप खड़े रह सकते हैं, बाजू में चेयर रख के उधर बैठ सकते हैं, सो दैट यू कैन बी अपराइट। तो आपका पोजिशंस यूज कर सकते हैं, मसाज यूज कर सकते हैं, और ब्रीदिंग कर सकते हैं, जिससे आपको ज्यादा कंफर्ट मिले, राइट। तो अगर आप ये सब नेचुरल वेज है, राइट, डिफरेंट पोजिशंस, मोर अपराइट पोजिशंस यूज करेंगे, आपका पार्टनर आपके बैक को, बेली को मसाज करेंगे तो उससे पेन रिलीफ मिले, और बेबी का हार्ट बीट अच्छा मेंटेन करने के लिए यू कैन डू द ब्रीदिंग। ब्रीदिंग मीन्स आप श्वास रोकना अवॉइड करेंगे। अगर ये सब काफी नहीं पड़ रहा है तो आप मेडिकल पेन रिलीफ मांग सकते हैं, विच इज एपिड्यूरल। ठीक है, तो एपिड्यूरल देने के लिए आपको अनेस्थेटिस्ट आते हैं, लेबर अनेस्थेटिस्ट आते हैं और आपके बैक में इंजेक्शन देते हैं, और वो मेडिसिन आपके स्पाइन में डाला जाता है। तो इसमें एडवांटेज क्या है, क्यों एपिड्यूरल देना है? पेन रिलीफ के लिए, वी ऑल नो दैट। तो पहले के टाइम में लेडीज क्या करते थे, दे यूज टू टेक नॉर्कोटिक पेन रिलीफ, जो मेडिसिन या इंजेक्शन रहता है, तो उसमें मदर विल गेट ड्राउजी, मतलब नींद होता है, राइट। पर ऐसा देने से क्या होगा, वो मेडिसिन बेबी को भी जाता है और बेबी सुस्त रहता है, तो बेबी बच्चा अच्छे से रोता नहीं है डिलीवरी के टाइम में। वी ऑल नो बेबी हैज टू क्राई एट द टाइम ऑफ बर्थ, तभी बेबी का हेल्थ अच्छा रहेगा। तो एंड मदर भी कोऑपरेट नहीं कर पाती है, ड्राउजी रहती है। तो विथ एपिड्यूरल दिस इज द एडवांटेज, द मेडिसिन विल नॉट रीच द बेबी, तो बेबी में ड्राउजीनेस नहीं रहता है, एंड दिस मेडिसिन विल नॉट रीच द ब्लड स्ट्रीम, तो वो एपिड्यूरल स्पेस में ही रहता है, सिर्फ पेन रिलीफ देता है, दूसरा कुछ नहीं करता है। सो द एडवांटेज इज मदर इज अलर्ट, आप अलर्ट रहेंगे, यू विल बी एबल टू कोऑपरेट फॉर पुशिंग, एंड यू विल नॉट बी ड्राउजी, बेबी भी ड्राउजी नहीं रहेगा। इसके लिए इसको प्रिफर्ड मेथड ऑफ पेन रिलीफ करके यूज करते हैं, ठीक है। सो once the cervix is fully open, the baby is going to come out. So this is how the second stage of labor is. So the baby has to come out through the birth canal passage. ये time में the doctor will guide the baby outside, right? So this process may take around half an hour to 45 minutes inside the delivery room. We have already discussed this. The third stage is when the placenta comes out. So this is the placenta, umbilical cord. So थर्ड स्टेज में जैसा प्लेसेंटा बाहर आ गया, द यूट्रस श्रिंक्स व्हेन द ब्लीडिंग स्पॉट्स स्टॉप होते हैं, तो दिस विल प्रिवेंट ओवर ब्लीडिंग एंड द प्लेसेंटा इज कम आउट। पूरा प्लेसेंटा बाहर निकल जाना चाहिए, अदरवाइज इफ इट इज रिटेन्ड इनसाइड इट कैन कॉज ओवर ब्लीडिंग। सो दैट इज व्हाई दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेज। ओके, सो C-section में the baby, spinal anesthesia देके baby will be delivered from the abdomen. There is a cut in the abdomen, there is a cut in the uterus, and then the baby will be delivered, as compared to vaginal birth where the baby is delivered for vagina. But for some reason C-section करना रहता है, so that is also a very safe procedure. So one day के लिए आप पूरा लेटे रहेंगे and IV fluids में रहते हैं, then slowly you are going to turn, next day से you are walking around, you are eating, तो धीरे धीरे comfortable हो जाते हैं, थोड़ा discomfort रहता है, you may want to wear a belt for 3-4 days, सो दैट आपको कंफर्टेबली चलने को होता है। 4th 5th डे में आपको डिस्चार्ज दे देते हैं, सो एंड एवरीथिंग हील्स इन 6 वीक्स। So this is the scar of a C-section. 10 days में scars अच्छे से heal हो जाते हैं, but 6 weeks लगता है पूरा अच्छे से heal होने के लिए। 12 weeks लगता है for you to do some intense activities and all, right? So so this is how you can cope up with your birth. So with a little understanding कि लेबर में क्या होता है, अपना बॉडी कैसा काम करता है, वो अगर अभी आपने जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग आया है, and these are all the ways to cope up with labor, like you can take different positions, you can use massage, and then you can use breathing with the help of your partner. So the presence of your partner is the most important thing. Partner साथ में रहेंगे, आपको help करेंगे, you will sail through labor very easily, right? And after birth, along with your baby, you should try and get back to shape, right? So Cord Life is offering you some coupons, so you can make use of these. So now let us move on to breastfeeding and baby care session. I think Swati is there. Okay, Neha is asking about C-section. So C-section is when, if everything is not going well, maybe baby is in the wrong position, आड़ा है या फिर bottoms up position में है, bottoms पहले है, bridge position, then you may have to go for a C-section. Spinal anesthesia देते हैं, that is when you will go for a elective C-section. और इमरजेंसी सी सेक्शन होता है अगर आप लेबर में गए हैं पर फॉर सम रीजन लेबर प्रोग्रेस नहीं हो रहा है या पेन आया ही नहीं किसी को और हेड स्टिल फ्लोटिंग है, हेड एंगेज नहीं हुआ है, सो दीज आर ऑल, और बेबी का हार्ट बीट नीचे आता है, सो दीज आर ऑल सम रीजंस फॉर सी सेक्शन. सो लाइक वी डिस्कस्ड, बैक में इंजेक्शन रहता है, स्पाइनल एनेस्थीसिया देते हैं, समटाइम्स एपिड्यूरल एनाल्जेसिया के साथ आपको सी सेक्शन हो सकता है, एंड देन देयर इज अ कट इन द एब्डोमेन, कट इन द यूट्रस, एंड द बेबी विल बी डिलीवर्ड. एंड लो लाइन प्लेसेंटा, नेहा, लो लाइन प्लेसेंटा अगर रहता है, सो इफ इट इज नॉट कवरिंग द पैसेज, तो धीरे धीरे प्रेगनेंसी एडवांस होते होते वो धीरे धीरे ऊपर चला जाता है, मेनी टाइम्स इट गोज अप. But sometimes placenta can remain, very close to the pores or the vaginal opening, or it may be covering the vaginal opening. वो time में vaginal birth नहीं होता है, you will go for a elective C-section because there is a risk of the placenta getting detached, जो placenta previa बोलते हैं, तो इसके लिए वो C-section करते हैं तभी. Otherwise, वो early pregnancy में वो decision नहीं लेते हैं. That decision is taken after 30 was there. I am in my 30th week. Doctor said that my fetal head looks like it is 33 weeks. What do you suggest? हाँ रवीना, सी बेबी का जो head circumference है, what they see is the average. So there can be variation. Some babies are little bigger. No, maybe probably your baby may be a big sized baby. So, 2 weeks here and there should not be a problem. Agar zyada hai, and if the doctor is suggesting some test, then you can go ahead and get it done. No, if there is some concern कि why the head is getting bigger, अगर आपको कुछ बताते हैं, तो then you may want to go for, further checking के लिए. Otherwise, it is fine. Sometimes sonography में जो दिखता है baby का age and actual baby ka age, it is correlating to the size of the baby. Big sized baby may have more head circumference, or they may have more abdominal circumference. ऐसा थोड़ा variations रह सकता है. If it is within the variations of normal limit, then you don't need to worry. Aarti, you are asking about epidural. So epidural के बारे में 2-3 questions है. Whether it is safe, disadvantage क्या है. Lakshmi has asked about disadvantages. The epidural, we have to understand that epidural is not the first thing you will look at when you're thinking of pain relief. In a normal, सब ठीक ठाक जा रहा है, comfortable, routine straight labor में हमको एपिड्यूरल की हमेशा जरूरत नहीं लगती है. अगर लेबर बहुत लंबा जा रहा है या आपका पेन टॉलरेंस बहुत ही कम है, तो आपको मैनेज नहीं हो रहा है, देन यू कैन आस्क फॉर एन एपिड्यूरल. the first choice is the natural ways. That is, you will try the massage, different positions लेंगे. जैसा मैंने बोला, लेटे रहेंगे तो you feel labor is intolerable. खड़े हो जाएंगे, immediately comfortable हो जाता है. राइट. सो आपको पहले से ही डॉक्टर से बात करना चाहिए. आई वांट टू बी मूविंग, चेंजिंग पोजीशन, सिटिंग, स्टैंडिंग, ऐसा बता सकते हैं. मसाज से 50% पेन रिलीव होता है. तो ये सब करेंगे तो सब लोगों को एपिड्यूरल की जरूरत नहीं लगती है. राइट. अगर लेबर बहुत लंबा जा रहा है, ये सब मुझे काफी नहीं पड़ रहा है, देन यू कैन आस्क फॉर एन एपिड्यूरल. एपिड्यूरल इज ऑप्शनल. इट इज नॉट डिसाइडेड बाय द डॉक्टर आरती. तो अगर हाफ वे थ्रू लेबर, दैट इज 4 to 5 सेंटीमीटर तक ओपन होने के बाद सर्विक्स, देन यू हैव द ऑप्शन. तो आपको डॉक्टर में आस्क, अगर तुम पेन टॉलरेट कर सकते हो, इफ यू वांट देन यू कैन टेक एन एपिड्यूरल. अगर आपको लगता है हाँ अभी मैं मैनेज कर रही हूँ, यू कैन से आई डोंट वांट इट नाउ, बट लेटर ऑन इफ यू फील आई वांट टू हैव, यू कैन आस्क फॉर इट. there is no problem, right? And epidural is a procedure which involves a consent. मतलब any anesthesia के लिए consent लगता है. So we cannot say that it is a no risk वाला procedure, right? Plus additionally epidural लेने से sometimes there can be little numbness. आपको उठने को चलने को usually नहीं देते हैं, आपको बेड में रहना रहता है. And sometimes pushing का sensation is very स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं रहता है क्योंकि वो थोड़ा नम होने की वजह से. तो वैक्यूम डिलीवरी का पॉसिबिलिटी ज्यादा रहता है. राइट. Ravina is saying the doctor says everything else is normal, so then nothing to worry, Ravina. See the size, the dimension. See, everything is a range. समटाइम्स वो आपके हेड सर्कमफ्रेंस के हिसाब से 33 वीक्स है, अब्डोमेन के सर्कमफ्रेंस के हिसाब से 29 वीक्स है, ऐसा वेरिएशंस आते हैं. So these are all within the normal parameters, nothing to worry. You can go for normal delivery if everything is going on fine. So nothing to worry. हाँ, so 32 weeks में your baby weight is 2.3 kilos, Lakshmi. So स्वीप एंड मॉप जो बोलते हैं, सो दिस इज फॉर दी स्क्वाटिंग. तो ये जो स्वीप एंड मॉप जो ट्रेडिशनली सब लोग बोलते हैं क्रॉल पोजीशन से, इट विल हेल्प द बेबी टू पोजीशन करेक्टली फॉर द बेबी टू एंगेज इनटू द पेल्विस. एंड स्क्वाटिंग से अपना बर्थ कैनल का जो आउटलेट है वो 20% तक जगह बनती है. So that is the reason हम squatting suggest करते हैं. So not necessary that you have to sweep and mop the floor. You can simply do crawl position. You can simply do squatting. 1 मिनट दिन में एक बार करेंगे काफी है. It need not be like a punishment, right? Plus you continue the other things. Daily active रहना चाहिए, walking करना चाहिए, crawl position लेना चाहिए, squatting करना चाहिए, right? So इससे एक्सेस वेट गेन जो होता है वो थोड़ा कंट्रोल में रहेगा, बिकॉज नाउ द बेबी विल गेन वेट, राइट? इसेंशियल वेट गेन तो होना चाहिए, नॉर्मल रेंज में आना चाहिए. एक्सेस वेट गेन कभी बोलते हैं बेबी इज ओवर 3.5 kilos, देन दैट इज अ बिग साइज बेबी. 3.5 के ऊपर जितना ज्यादा वजन बढ़ता है वजाइनल बर्थ में उतना ही डिफिकल्टी होती है. So if you are physically active and you are doing all these things to engage the baby's head and to widen the pelvic outlet, then you can definitely have a vaginal birth. All the best.
So basically, I would wish that all the viewers today understand that breastfeeding, as like Dr. Nigam has explained, that the baby arrival is a very fantastic thing that can ever happen to a lady. Same way, the mother who's already delivered, the best thing that can happen to her is again breastfeeding, because she's looking forward to this period, right? That's what I would want to explain, that how this can be made into a beautiful experience for all those who deliver. Yeah? So here we go. Generally, what I'm basically trying to touch upon is that it's important to nourish right during your pregnancy time, such that it helps your post-delivery time. And also you will see all these things which I will touch upon, like the health of the baby at birth, as Dr. Nigam was mentioning. Plus, it is important to prepare to feed, right? Your body will naturally prepare, but what you have to prepare is at the mental end. You have to learn how to recognize the baby's cues You have to understand what positions are going to make it more easy for you to, breastfeed your baby. To understand what the latch or the technique of getting the baby to begin feeding is all about. Learn little about breast care and the nipple care. Also, try and understand how essential it is to relax while you breastfeed. Right. So let me just take you through this brief couple of slides which will help you to learn all this beautifully. Now, please understand that breastfeeding basically is a nature's gift to all the moms. Okay? I mean, when you conceive, parallelly, your body also starts defining how it is going to, be available for breastfeeding. So it's like, from that time onwards, your body is preparing towards nursing your baby. Fine. So it's not like, when the baby arrives, then the preparation begins. It's ongoing preparation through your period of 8 months that the body is preparing towards nursing your baby. Okay, so it's not going to be difficult, right? Because the body is all ready and prepared. Yeah. So generally, as I said, all that you eat or all that probably you are trying to ready is try to support that body's preparation towards nursing. So your nourishment is what matters, and what you do daily, your daily activity is all that matters. Both these things, if you are able to take care of, generally most moms are feeling, comfortable by the time the baby arrives. And second, as I said, that nature has its own role to play. So what nature does is it brings about these changes in the hormones in the body, which help to nurse the baby. Okay? There are these two hormones, the prolactin and the oxytocin, which work in sync to create milk and to dissipate milk from the body. So they basically the breast gets ready with the milk, and then what basically otherwise remains is how I mean how the nature also promotes in layering down fat in the entire body of the woman, such that it comes to use during the lactation phase. Fine. So that's the body's preparation, which is supported thoroughly by nature. So this is what I was just talking about. That what you basically otherwise require is a baby in hand, a baby who's ready to suckle, okay, a baby who comes with this suckling reflex. It's a very natural reflex for the baby to have begin suckling. So a suckling baby and a prepared mother. That's all that you need when it comes to breastfeeding. Fine. So when the baby begins to suckle, your brain signals the pituitary gland to generate these two hormones, the prolactin and the oxytocin. This prolactin basically works towards allowing the milk to get generated in your breast. Parallelly, the oxytocin allows the release of milk from the breast. All of these things fall in place. The basic thing is a suckling baby, and the baby has to latch right to be able to suckle well. Right. So now, getting a good letdown is one thing which you have to understand. When the baby starts to suckle, there is this natural feeling that the milk is flowing down from the upper side of the breast or from the lobules in the breast towards the nipple. That's what we call as a letdown. You may feel it like, a ticklish feeling down towards the nipple side. Sometimes a gush of milk comes in, which may be a little, actually felt in the duct, feeling that is moving down of the milk. Now, what happens is when there is increased oxytocin, there will be more milk. And how this happens is more the baby suckles, you have more oxytocin, more the baby is put to the body, there is more generation of milk in the breast, and that eventually takes care of the baby's requirement for nursing. Yeah. So, what we need to basically prepare is to gather the right information and to gather the right techniques of making this process more simple, and basically also creating a feeling that you are looking forward to the arrival of the baby, because when you are prepared, then you are not worried, right? The more you think that it may be difficult, or you may have heard things from others, or probably you have experienced some family member who would have taken longer to start breastfeeding, etc. Now, this preparation that you participate in a session of ours, I'm sure will be able to give you adequate understanding that all it requires is a true understanding of how the process can be simplified. Okay, which basically means, you get motivated and helps the mom to be, to gain confidence and take informed decisions about breastfeeding and managing her baby. So today's class is all about this. Yeah. So as I said, two things absolutely required: a prepared and an informed mother and a suckling baby. Okay. And also effectively this means that it's not just the breast milk that is just not going to be food for the baby, but it is also going to be much more than providing this nourishment to the baby. What actually breastfeeding is all about is it's actually bonding between the mother and the baby right from the time it is born. In fact, the bonding right now is also happening, right? When the baby is in the womb, you're feeding the baby all the time. But when the baby is actually in your lap, you're able to see the baby and see how it responds to the feelings. So the feelings of love, the feelings of warmth, the security, something which you cannot actually describe in words is all what breastfeeding can provide. So that's why, so much of insistence on breastfeeding, and that's why the WHO also says the first 6 months time is the time when the mother should spend quality time breastfeeding the baby. Okay? It lays down, a lifetime of, I mean, breastfeeding basically is a foundation for what the mother prepares for the baby's lifetime development. So that's so crucial how breastfeeding can really be, a part in the baby's life. So what you need to learn here are these couple of four things, and we will quickly go into it. First being the breastfeeding position. Okay. There are these couple of holds I will show in picture in the next slides to come. The cradle hold, the cross cradle hold, the side lying hold, the football hold, and a laid back hold. So this is a cross cradle hold. Now what I mean by cross cradle hold is where the baby is comfortably lying in your lap, and there can be a pillow which will create, which will allow the baby to raise to the height of the nipple. Okay, so some pillow, it can be a breastfeeding pillow, it can be a regular pillow, it can be something which just allows this gap to get bridged. Okay. Now cross cradle meaning the mother is holding the baby's head with her left arm. The baby is breastfeeding on the right breast. So it's an opposite arm to the opposite breast, and which is why it's called cross cradle. Okay. Here, what happens is the baby is comfortably supported, the head is supported in a C shape here around. The baby's head is supported this way, and the mother with her right arm is able to hold at the level of the breast in such a way that she can, pinch the breast between her thumb and her forefinger to allow the nipple to properly be held in the baby's mouth while she offers the nipple to the baby. So that becomes an easier position to manage for the baby to really grab at the nipple correctly. Fine. Second position that you can adopt is a football position. Now, what is the specific benefit of this position is since the baby is not completely on the mother's lap, she can allow her legs to remain loose, she can spread her legs and sit. Probably, it's not holding her back in one particular leg position. Here, when you have crossed your leg, you may not really be able to move your leg freely while the baby is feeding. But this discomfort doesn't happen here. Second thing, what happens is you're using a pillow to raise the baby, of course, again to the level of the nipple, but the baby is, on the side. So here the mother holds the baby in the same arm. She supports the baby's head in the C cup position shape with the same arm and the same side of the nipple. Okay. So here the baby nose remains a little far off from the surface of the mother's nipple. So there is no issue wherein, where sometimes the mother feels or sometimes the people who are around you may feel that, the baby's nose may get compressed, but that doesn't really happen ever here. In fact, even in any of the other positions, when you bring the baby close to the breast, what you do is allow the baby's chin to get into the breast tissue and allow the baby's mouth to open. The lip on the lower side touches the nipple on the lower side of the areola, and the baby tries to grip at the top surface of the nipple like that. So, this lip is touching the lower side of the areola, and the upper lip actually closes over the nipple, getting a good correct latch. Fine. So that way it helps. Now this position, when we call the football position, basically is also very comfortable while you have gone through a section labor. On that time, at that time, you may not want to, put a pillow so close to your body. Probably you may feel it might get difficult for you. But this position allows you with that comfort. Yeah. This is the laid back position where the mother is reclining. So she is getting a complete back support with that reclining pillow or the bedside. Correct. And here the baby is laid over the mother's body, wherein the baby is able to grip very comfortably at the surface of the nipple. So this is another very comfortable position which can be very easily used immediately after labor or in the day's time to use after labor. This is another position which is the sideline position. Now here what you see is the baby is turned towards the baby's side. The mother is also turned towards the baby's side and the baby comfortably grips at the nipple. Now can you see this? What I was just saying is the baby's chin is thrusted into the mother's breast tissue. The lower lip actually holds at the lower side of the mother's areola and the upper lip is actually holding at the nipple properly. So you will see very little part of the areola outside the baby's mouth. And this ensures that it's a good and correct latch. So this is another position, but here, we specifically respect that this is a necessary position when you are very tired, but it is good to use this position only when you are wide awake. Okay. Sometimes this can be a little not so okay if you don't have somebody with you while you're feeding in this position. Because often, the mother's sleep timings may get a little compromised, and we don't want the mother to fall asleep while she is actually feeding the baby. Right? So broadly what I was saying is breastfeeding basically can be initiated and continued in any position that is comfortable both to the mother and the baby. And it doesn't mean that when you start with one particular position, you have to continue in that position all along your breastfeeding tenure. You can shift and change positions to adjust with the babies and the comfort of the mother. Right? It's important that you are able to spend quality time with your baby while you are feeding. Okay? Because you are going to spend those 15, 20, 30 minutes each time you breastfeed your baby. So it should be, some quality time spent, right? It should not become like work. Okay? You should not feel that, oh my God, I have to breastfeed. You have to wait and look forward to breastfeeding so that you're able to spend nice time with your baby. And that happens only when it is comfortable. Imagine it is hurting you, or imagine you are sitting or not resting well while you are feeding the baby. It can become quite tiresome. So that's the reason why that when you adopt a good position which comforts you, you will definitely be able to allow the baby to breastfeed longer, because it's something that you're spending enjoyable time with the baby. And parallelly, back of your mind, you always have that the baby is getting more milk, the baby is getting healthier with the milk that is coming from your breast. Right? So, what is the difference between a good and a poor latch? A poor latch is, where the baby is just holding at the nipple. Now, you see, it's a very soft latch that is there. The lip is holding the nipple in the mouth, but it can, just move off immediately. Now, here what you see is the lip is propped outside, both the sides. Okay? And hardly very little part of the areola may be able to be visible once the baby has ensured that once the baby has caught on to the nipple properly. Now, this allows for the baby to hold at the nipple and actually have good suckling movement. Okay? But when it's a poor latch, what happens is the baby may have held only the tip of the nipple, and often the baby is pressing at the nipple rather than suckling at the nipple, and which can create some kind of pain for the mother at the level of the nipple. Okay. Now, if the mother allows the baby to nurse with this poor latch, she may develop pain on the nipple, and which can prove very very injurious, which may make her feel like not feeding the baby because it hurts her. Right. So be sure that the baby, when it latches, the baby is latching at the base of the nipple, and this is the movement, like when the baby suckles, the breast has to be actually pulled in the baby's mouth rather than pressed in the baby's mouth. If you feel it is the reverse, unlatch the baby and latch again. It will ensure that you are not hurt and the baby gets enough milk, because there is adequate transfer of milk in the baby's mouth from the breast when the latch is correct. So this is what I was also saying. If the baby is sleeping, there is a chance that what mother does is she tries to push the nipple in the baby's mouth, and that can often lead to an incorrect latch. But the best thing to do is try and wake the baby a little up. Allow the baby to open the mouth wide enough. before it can really grab well at the nipple to ensure that there is a correct and a good latch. Okay. Now you'll also see that over a period of few days the mother and the child get very comfortable around feeding well, sleeping well, spending those minutes together well. There may be times when the baby is holding at the nipple and going off to sleep. So that's where you will need to learn how to separate the baby from the nipple. Try and use your little finger, tuck it in the mouth, or use your forefinger and your thumb to spread the lips such that the grip between the mother's jawline, the baby's jawline, and the mother's breast is eased off, and the nipple can be removed with ease. You don't try to pull it off because it can hurt, but if you are able to part the baby's lips, it becomes simpler to manage that. Now, what is most essential? First thing is maybe a protractile nipple, but that again is not absolutely an essential. Why? Because there are times when the nipple may be a little, you know, uh, a little, I don't know. There are so many people who come with that. I have a small nipple. I have a soft nipple. The nipple is thrusting inwards. These are reasons where people come with. I mean, women come with saying that I am not able to nurse the baby. Right. So maybe you have to learn how to get the nipple protractile before you start latching the baby. So that you are not worried with all these reasons. If there is a flat nipple, if there is an invert nipple, there may be some challenge, but the mother can learn prior to the day. And which is why consulting a lactation consultant prior to delivery once may be quite crucial. Second thing that you have to know is how to correctly grip at the baby. So I did mention that if you're holding the baby's head in a C-shaped position, and when the baby has opened its mouth, when you bring the baby closer to the breast, the baby is actually able to take a good grip at the nipple. Fine. It's important to remember that baby has to spend 15 minutes of suckling time at the breast to get enough, broadly. Okay, I mean you cannot exactly time 10 to 10 15 kind of a thing, but broadly if the baby is suckling for a good 15 minutes, mostly it is going to get sufficient transferred milk in the for the baby's tummy to get full. Okay, and second thing is, once this 15 suckling minutes are over, try and bring the baby to birth and then offer the second side. So alternating the side each time the feed happens is not compulsively for each feed per se, but between feeds, yes, you should be able to alternate the breast. Like supposing at 10 o'clock you're feeding on the right breast, the next feed, which could be at 12:15 timing, should be on the left breast. So it allows for both the breasts to adequately empty themselves. Okay, and more the breast gets emptier, the faster it fills. Right? As I said, more you feed the baby, more the milk will come. So that's how if you empty the breast more frequently, you will keep getting more and more milk. So there will be no dearth of milk after the first 2 or 3 days time. Right? And after each feeding time, whether it is on one breast or two breast, each time when you get the baby off the breast, it is essential to burp the baby. Some care that you need to take around the breast is going to be a gentle massage around all around the breast, with a little circular movement that allows any kind of lumps or any kind of tightness in the breast that is there to ease off, and that allows the flow of milk to be more smooth when the baby starts nursing. So that is one thing that allows the lymph drainage to also happen, and it allows the smoothing of the movement of milk towards the nipple as well. Second thing that you can do is, some lubrication of the nipples. You can use coconut oil, or you can also use your hind milk, your own milk a little, which allows to keep the nipples a little lubricated. So there is no, fungal infection or whatever on the surface that can happen. And I don't know whether you know this, but uh, specifically, breastfeeding is now more advocated also for the fact that when the baby sucks at the breast, it also gets the benefit of the surface bacteria which are on the nipple. Okay? These bacteria basically enter the baby's body and they try and help the baby generate what you call as vitamin B12 within the baby's intestine. And imagine, I mean, of late, the generation has been facing, a vitamin D deficiency, vitamin B12 deficiency. And that's all because these particular things at times have not been taken care of. So now that we know about this, more you feed the baby, you will realize that each time the baby is feeding, you're also helping the baby to benefit from this surface bacteria and definitely improve the baby's immunity. Yeah. Also, when you take care of the breast, it's again observing your breast each time to check whether there are any lumps. If there are lumps, it is important to use some oil massage so that the lumps can be cleared. If the lumps remain for a longer time, they become painful. Or if there is a particular lump that is there, you may be able to also, bring it to the notice of your doctor in the right time. Next thing is when the baby has finished feeding, try and observe the shape of the nipple or any kind of pressure point at the nipple. Sometimes the baby actually suckles in a very particular fashion where it bends the surface of the nipple, which may at times be painful. So try and check if that is the way, then probably changing the position of breastfeeding may be pretty much helpful. Yeah. Try and choose a very correct bra. Don't try and use a lot of underwired and those kind of bras which may hurt or which may pressure the breast at any particular location. Okay? And also, arm exercises will help to mobilize the breast and also prevent any aches and pains. Imagine when you're holding the baby in this position and you're continuously holding it like this, or you're holding with an upper shoulder tightness, you might keep having pain in your neck, this side or that side, or any upper body back pain, which can be avoided if you're able to do, some of these mobilizing exercises, which will release the tightness in these areas. Because you have to carry the baby while you're feeding, or rather, once your baby is actually latched and you have a good pillow position and a good backrest, probably you will be feeling more comfortable while you feed the baby. But while you're moving around, you may be holding your baby in whatever comfortable position, right? And that needs arm strength and a relaxed shoulder as well. So try using this so that you can prevent any kinds of aches and pains that may occur during that tenure of breastfeeding. Also, what you need to here understand is that when you start breastfeeding, or rather when the baby arrives, often you may not see a lot of milk in the breast. Do not panic. The best thing here and the important piece of advice that I want to put here is do not panic. Specifically because if you panic, it will delay the process of beginning lactation. Okay. Now, why you do not panic is because what your baby needs is very little. Okay. On day one, for each feed, the baby may require almost just about 1 to 2 spoons of milk at each feed, which your body will be able to generate if you are calm and if you actually understand the technique of breastfeeding. Okay. On day two, it may become, say, from 1 spoon to 3 to 4 spoons. Day three, it will become from 4 spoons to, say, about 6 to 8 spoons. And that's about all the milk per feeding time that is going to be required. It's not like one whole cup of 200 ml that we require to feed a baby of that many days old, right? So don't panic if you get less milk. The more you keep giving the baby the breast, the more oxytocin will allow the breast milk to get released and more prolactin will allow to make more milk in the breast. So this process will start in place. So if you don't see any milk at birth, also try and get the baby to latch every 2 hours. This will ensure that the prolactin and the oxytocin start working beautifully and start manufacturing milk in the breast, which will be available in, say, about 8 to 18 hours of labor time. Okay, so within the first day itself, you should be able to satisfy the baby with whatever basic requirement is for that particular feed. And gradually, of course, the quantum will increase, but the body will keep supporting that increase once the baby has been fed at the breast. Right? So there's no need to worry. In fact, I have seen several mothers, on day three, they have so much more milk which the baby is not able to finish. So they may start getting more heavier breast, which can get painful. Okay? So that's the other side of it. Initially, first day you are struggling to get milk in the breast. Day four, you feel, bus okay, I don't want so much milk because it's hurting me. Okay? So there is this, in 3 days time, it becomes quite more full than what actually the baby can manage to finish. So stay relaxed and the body supports the breastfeeding process. Okay? So what I want to remember is the baby usually needs no more than what an exclusively breastfeeding mother can produce. And the physiology of this milk production basically works on the principle of demand and supply. So more the demand, more the supply. So more the baby sucks, more will be the supply. And you can stay relaxed over this fact because it's 100% foolproof thing that can happen. Okay? Now, all this call for is a relaxed mother, as I said. If you are well informed, if you know about this fact, you can stay relaxed. If you don't know, you start worrying from the time the baby arrives, I have no milk, and that process actually, becomes quite demotivating, right? But now that you know, I'm sure all of our mothers will be able to stay calm, relaxed, and be able to feed more successfully. Okay? Second thing that you need is somebody who can stay motivating, like, maybe a lactation educator like me and Dr. Nigamaja. We can be there in case there's any doubt, anything, you can reach out to us. At the end of the session, I'll share my phone number. You can please take it down so that you are able to reach us as required. Fine. So that's basically there that we'll be able to help you at any point of doubt, whenever during your pregnancy now, and maybe when you have already delivered at that point of time as well. Fine. So wishing you a very happy breastfeeding time. And before I take questions, I will just run you through another small understanding of how you can manage and take care of your baby. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay. So I believe my screen is again visible. And let me take you through small understandings of how you can take care of a baby and how your baby can be so smiling the way you see on the screen. Okay? What your baby really basically needs is you. Okay? Several couples start planning so many things for the baby, right? ये भी करना है, घर भी सजाना है, सारी चीजें भी रखना है, बेबी को कैसे खिलाएंगे, कैसे बाहर ले जाएंगे. All of these thoughts also can be parallelly there while you're expecting a baby. And some thoughts of these kind I will help you to understand and pacify through whatever I'm speaking the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So normal जो होता है when the baby is born, all other things are routines. Okay, like how you and I, when we wake up in the morning, what we do is we try to clean our mouth, we try to go for maybe a cup of tea or coffee, taking some food. Maybe during the day, then we have our bath, we have routines, we do some basic jobs here and there. All of this exactly, we clear our balls. All of this is exactly going to happen to your baby. Why? Because it's a miniature of you, it's a human being at large, right? So then all other things that actually happen are routines for you, so there's nothing to worry, right? What is happening to you is also going to happen to your baby, right? So be prepared because you've gone through it yourself. Probably you must have seen somebody in your family who has delivered before you, or your friend, or your relative, or your neighbor, or whatever. You may have had some stories around there, and sometimes it becomes a very beautiful experience for somebody. Sometimes it becomes a little difficult experience for a few. So if you know well in advance, you can make it easy for yourself. And that's the whole reason why people have started attending webinars of this type, right? So let me just help you understand how and what kind of routines the baby can have and how you can participate in this. Okay? So initially when the baby is born, as Dr. Nigam may have mentioned, the first hour after birth, the baby is very active. Okay? So that's the time you will have the maximum suckling reflex for the baby. Okay? Within the first 20 to 40 minutes, you will have the baby actually wanting to suck. So at that point of time, if you get the baby to the breast, the baby starts suckling without being taught. Okay, and that's so beautiful to see. I'll request all of you to go back to YouTube channel and check the breast crawl video. Okay, this breast crawl is some baby friendly hospitals. Basically, as soon as the baby is born, the baby is held ulta for all the secretions to get out of the nose and the mouth, and then the baby is put on the mother's bare chest. Okay? And the baby rests a little, and it is, since it's so active, it starts trying to use its muscles of its arm and your legs, and it tries to move towards the nipple to take its first suck at the breast. That's called a breast crawl. You just observe that video and you will see why I'm trying to promote it so much. And if that is not allowed, probably if there is no time for that, sometimes the lady has to go through a section labor. then the breast roll may not be permitted because the mother's suturing is yet the first thing to be done. So in that case, the baby will be put on the mother's breast directly to allow the baby to nurse quickly. Okay, so in that case also this first 20 to 40 minutes are the first most important suckling minutes that the baby will be participating. After that, the baby becomes a little more sluggish. It wants to sleep. It wants to really, really sleep. So there are times when mom says कि आप बोलते हो कि बेबी को फीड कराओ 2-2 घंटे में, लेकिन बेबी तो उठता ही नहीं, हम कैसे फीड करें? So that becomes quite a challenge for a few parents. But nonetheless, when you have swaddled your baby, when usko closed rakha hai, each time you want to nurse your baby and the baby is not ready to wake up, just open up. जो भी उसका कवरिंग क्लॉथ है उसको खोल दीजिए. Try and tickle the baby in the neck, probably in the around the ears, maybe play with its fingers and toes, maybe press a little on the fingers and toes. The baby will wake up. Once the baby is a little awake, you can get the baby to latch well. You can see that the baby is suckling well, and it just helps you big time. Right? So that's the first thing. So also you be quite aware and understood that no formula milk, no jaggery, honey, shahad, chakkar, nothing is basically given to the baby which is external. Okay? Only mother's milk is what is going to be allowed for the baby, and that is supposed to be why, because it helps the baby big time. Third thing is, till the first 6 months it is advocated that you actually just get the baby to breastfeed. Beyond that, some amount of supplemental foods will start along with breastfeeds. Fine. Until this point of time, when the baby is solely at the breast, it doesn't even require any water, because the mother's milk actually has a composition which will suffice for the baby's needs for water and other nutrients put together. So that's so potent that it's the one nature's best nourishing drink which will support the baby's nutrition thoroughly throughout the first 6 months time. Yeah. Now, second question here that I come up with is, who is going to bathe your baby? Okay, are you going to do it? Is your husband going to do it? Is somebody from the family going to do it? If it is not yet decided, please begin thinking around that. Okay, it's a beautiful experience to get a baby to bath. Look at this baby. It's trying to look into the mother's eyes to see, okay, now she's going to use a tap warm water and get the baby to bath. And these kind of strapped seats etc. are available along with a tub, so it becomes comfortable for you, and there is no scare around getting the baby to bath off late. These kind of seats are also available, which you can put it over a stool in your bathroom if you like, and the baby can have a bath. So it's a beautiful experience where the baby is enjoying the bath and you are able to support that and be there. The necessary things is that the baby likes to have a bath daily. Imagine you not having a bath on one particular day. How do you feel? It feels, a little maza nahi aa raha hai kinds, right? The baby may also be feeling that. Often the baby becomes very cranky towards the evening, the day it has not had a bath. So if you take, a warm, I mean, supposing it's a winter time, now we are entering winter. If one of those days, if you feel it's very cold and you don't give a baby a bath, try and definitely see that you use hot water sponging for the baby, which will freshen the baby. You don't leave it just like that without any bath at all. Okay? So you can use warm or maybe not very hot water. Now, what I mean by hot water is something which your finger feels it is okay. Okay. What is okay for the baby is what your elbow will feel it is okay when it comes to temperature. Try and use a separate bathtub and a separate bath mug, just so that you're not having any kind of hygiene issues when it comes to baby's bath. You can use any mild soap, and try and see that the ends of the eyes, maybe the openings of the ears and the nose etc. are well washed and clean, and try and see that the genitals are properly cleaned up also. Okay, when you're trying to bathe a baby girl, try and see you wash from up to downwards, not from down to up, even while you clean the bottoms. Okay, that allows to not infect the vagina with any kind of anal material. Fine. Anybody who wants to massage your baby? I don't know, because in a running session we get answers and it becomes very very interactive and participative. But I know some of us are in that understanding कि massage तो करना ही पड़ता है. But of late, the pediatricians basically do not advocate any massage as such. In case you want to spend quality time with your baby, what a massage basically does is it allows for good circulation of the baby's blood in the entire body. So that's the purpose of a massage. By doing massage, it's not that you're going to, create a very tagda baby or you're going to make very strong bones or anything of that. Okay? So what you're trying to do is trying to spend good quality time with the baby and improve the baby's blood circulation. So in that case, if you wish to do a massage, do it yourself. Don't employ somebody to do it because you will miss an opportunity, right? It can be done with any basic oil or any moisturizing cream because all that is required is you don't create any kind of friction. Okay, your hands have to move smoothly over the baby's skin without rubbing it too hard. Okay, that's why you need this oil. And it can be, I mean, supposing if it is winter time, you can do the massage after putting a bath. That will actually help to replenish the baby's skin oils. And try and see that you do not use any besan and atta and all, because if you're using too much oil, you may start using all this atta and all, which will cause more drying of the baby's skin or more abrasions on the baby's skin. Look at the pictures that I've tried and put here, the way you can put the baby so that you can save your own back as well. Okay, you can put the baby cross on your legs over your thighs, or you can use some couch where you're putting the baby on the couch and you're sitting on a lower stool, or maybe put the baby in front of you like that and then give the baby a massage. Or, the basic thing here is that the baby has to be smiling, laughing, enjoying the massage. If you feel that the baby is irritated and throwing away tantrums, that means it's trying to say it's not liking it. Please respect that and avoid it. Yeah. What about baby grooming? So, grooming basically is not like putting a lot of powder and putting a lot of kajal and putting a lipstick and whatnot. Okay? The babies all, when they are born, they look so beautiful. They are angels on earth, right? They don't need any decoration, right? What you only would need is a little powder in the area of the groin to keep it dry, because that's the area which might get more moist when the baby is, either wetting or soiling. Fine. So that's the area you need to keep dry so that there is no infection that can catch up there. Right? There is no need of using any surma kajal in the eyes. There is no need of putting any lip balms or any cold creams or whatnot, because normally the baby's skin is all gentle and great. Yeah? All you require is trimming the nails, because the milk that the baby is getting from the breast has got good amount of calcium. Okay, and that's the whole all the reason we advocate that the mother should continue taking her own calcium till she is solely breastfeeding the baby. This allows for the mother's body to not get deplenished of the required calcium, plus it keeps allowing adequate to be available for the baby as well. Fine. So try and see that when the baby is drinking adequate, the baby's nails also start growing pretty much fast. And the baby, since it is playing, it might scratch itself or it may scratch the mother as well. So in that case, trimming of baby's nails either with the use of a nail cutter, which is a small curvy edge nail cutter, or maybe with the use of a tweezer is good enough. One more thing that I have been asked often, and that's why I put this is, often the mothers find that there is a lot of whitish covering on the baby's tongue. Now, this may happen if the baby, burps and she brings up a little curdlish milk often. So that may all settle on the baby's tongue. So for that reason, probably you can use, a little medical, what do we call that? You can use a little medical glycerin. Okay, if you check with any medical store, you will have a small bottle of glycerin. That glycerin is a sweet tasting liquid, and it actually melts away that thickness on the tongue. So you can use that one drop of glycerin over a muslin cloth and just clean up the tongue. Okay? And because it is sweet, you will be able to touch the baby's tongue. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult to get the baby's tongue and clean it. Okay? So that's all the reason it need not be done daily. It can be done once when you really feel it is required. Fine. That's what I mean by cleaning up the tongue. Now, what kind of baby accessories? Too many in the market. Any baby store is a most welcome place for all the moms to, moms to be to go and freak around. Okay? So try and go there with your list rather than going and just buying on the go. You may land up buying too many extra things. So it's better to one day, just window shop, make your notes, and then go back home, try to check what you really require, and then go and buy them. The first time buying sometimes is very impulsive, and you may really land up spending more and buying too many more things which you may not use up, because just remember that the baby really grows very fast. Anything that is a very small size, the baby may not fit in within the first 3 months' time as well. So be very wise in buying things which you will be able to use at a later date as well. Okay? What you need to plan in advance of the day is mosquito protection. Okay? You also have to plan what kind of bedding you're going to use, because these are the things you will need on day one as soon as you are back home. In the hospital stay, certain things may be required, but when you are back home, these are the things you will require, and at that point, you're not going out buying, right? These have to be, arranged for before you go back home. And carrying options like, a sling or whatever can come later when you really start going out with your baby. But these couple of things may be required initially, so try check what you would like to buy and how you can organize your house to make arrangements to fit in the kinds of things that you want to buy, right? Uh, Last two, three questions. One is, who's going to be your pediatrician? Have you already planned? Do you know where your pediatrician is? What part of the town are you all staying in? Probably you should, be wise enough to go make one visit to the pediatrician to understand what vaccination is all about, which are the vaccines that are available in the market, what are the schedules that need to be followed, even prior to delivery. Why not? Okay? That allows you to be sure that the pediatrician you want to continue speaking to is more easy to speak, is more easy, and is more able to answer your queries rather than rushing through whatever you want to discuss. You also need to read up something more on what is immunization, what kind of vaccines are available, what all are vaccines which can be optional. This optional meaning at particular time in particular areas you may need a particular vaccine. Some places you may be able to skip a particular vaccine. So these are things you should be knowing, because these keep changing area wise. So I cannot put a list saying these can be avoided. They may not be true, right? But what essentially happens is, at birth in the hospital before your discharge, the baby will be given a BCG. That's this, upper left hand vaccine, which is a government vaccine, and that is for tuberculosis. Okay? There will be an oral polio drop that will be given, and there will be a hepatitis B shot on the upper thigh that will be given. So these two pictures I tried to pull, which will be done before you get discharged from the hospital. And then whoever your pediatrician would be probably will be able to give you a vaccination chart. Now, what you need to do is know what the vaccines are and also schedule the next vaccine date so you don't miss that. Right. That's what you should be able to do on the first. And this last four things which you should be knowing is, there is something which we call as a physiological jaundice. Now this means that several mothers find the babies getting a little yellowish skin from day 3.5 to day four's time. Okay? And this is basically called as jaundice, but it's not any infective jaundice of any kind. It's more to do with, because there is a lot of breakdown of the mother's body cells in the baby's body. These body cells would have released some amount of pigments which are yellow in color, and which causes the change in color of the baby's skin or sometimes even the eyes. Okay? But if this happens in a higher portion than what the baby can manage, it can get difficult for the baby. So what the doctor may advise you is maybe some photolight therapy, which is safe for the baby and which you can completely agree with the doctor and take it ahead. But here the requirement is also that the baby has to suckle well to be able to generate enough urine, which allows the removal of these products or these pigments from the baby's body. So that's where the challenge is, because the baby starts becoming very sluggish. The baby may not really want to feed more. It is very tired. And parallelly, the requirement is that you have to see that the baby is suckling more so that there is more urine generation. So maybe at times, you may have to coax the baby. If the baby doesn't suck directly at the breast, you may have to express a little milk and give the baby so that the baby is well hydrated to keep generating enough milk. Yeah. Second thing, that question that has come so frequently is about the stool, the stooling pattern, and the color of the stool. color of the stool you will have to actually see in visual. You look at the website and you will be able to find what kind of color deviations the stool can have. But frequency is one thing which I can tell you, that there are some babies who may pass stools with every feed, and there are several others who may not pass stool even at the end of 3 days, 4 days. Now, both of these ends are okay and absolutely normal. There's nothing to worry. Yeah. And there is something which you also have to know is a colic. When there is major crying that happens, you have to understand that there may be something that is hurting the baby's tummy. When the baby is not burping well enough, there are more chances of colic to happen. So please ensure that after every feed, you definitely burp the baby. If there is colic, the doctor may be spoken to, there may be safe drops which may be given, but which need not be used as a tonic. Okay? They are supposed to be only helping colic, so it's not like preventive drops, it is the time when the colic has really happened. Okay? And most frequent that comes is crying. My baby is crying, I don't know why. Okay? So now can you just see these pictures and try and figure out why this baby must be crying, or why this kind of a cry, or why this kind of a cry. It can be for several reasons, and every baby has a different style of crying for different things. Okay, so only when you are in closer niche with your baby, you may be able to figure out why your baby is really crying. Okay, now this baby is actually trying to do potty, and which is why it is, making this face. It's not really crying. Okay, here this baby is crying because it is really hungry, and the mother is not paying any heed to it. And here this baby is almost cooing. Why? Because it's trying to say, "अरे मेरे को उठा लो, मेरे को क्यों छोड़ दिया है?" So there's no problem, but it's just that मेरी तरफ तो देखो, कोई तो मेरी तरफ देखो. So there could be such simple reasons where the baby may be crying and the mother would really not be able to figure out if she's not been able to see how the baby is behaving at different crying schedules. Okay? So some small tips which I have learned over the years, I thought I should put it in the seminar, which helps all you to recognize how and what you can do when it comes to your chance. Yeah. So that's about it from my end. If you have some questions, of course, we can discuss. But before I end, I would like to tell you that I work with Pitterfly and I am the pregnancy head there. We run a program which is called PregStar, and there is where we take pregnant ladies and help them through their pregnancy journeys to understand what their nutrition should be all about, what all questions, queries can come around during pregnancy. Probably we address all of those through WhatsApp chats, through a lot of videos, through a lot of content that we share through the app with them. So that's a Fitterfly Wellness app. And probably this PregStar program could be pretty much useful to you. If you are interested, probably you can reach out to me either on either of the numbers. Please note these numbers down. This is my personal number. This is the Fitterfly Wellness customer care number for the PregStar program. Right. So if there's something, if I can help you further, please stay connected with me, with Dr. Nigam, as and when it is necessary. Thank you so much.